Hey guys, welcome to a brand new late night mixing tutorial where we take a look at the tones on my cover of Coven by Thornhill. Wow, nice. This is going to be a short one because this is one of those cases where I use the mixing template from the previous cover. So if you watch the previous Where We Go When We Die mixing tutorial, you will get the rundown on what the drums are, what the bass is, and what the rhythm guitars is, and then I don't have to waste your time in case you've already watched that one. So we're gonna take it from the cool lead and synth and clean sounds here and make it a short one, and you can go check that one out, the one before, if you haven't yet, to know what the drums, bass, and guitars are. Drums are the P4 tone that I made in the Currents A Flag to Wave mix. Bass is stock Euro bass with this EQ on. I mean, I can explain it right then and there. And guitars are Tone Forged Jason Richardson with a bunch of interesting EQ considerations that you should check out that tutorial for. All right, taking it from the lead sounds, which is the only thing new. To make this all cohesive, I tried to use Tone Forged Jason Richardson on most of the guitars. So I switched to the lead amp, because it's a lead, right? And I left everything same as the rhythm. Stock cab and this EQ boost at 1.5K is the most important one, as well as 2.5 and cutting the lows at 100 and 180. Into very little reverb to make it fit. That is 3 seconds decay and 25% mix, so not a lot. And the EQ to make it fit is just a very gentle roll off starting from 280. This guy, I wanted him to sound like he was in a bathroom, almost. So you can see some EQ changes, less bass for sure. The rest is the same. But the reverb is 100% wet. That's the main difference, and it's bend left. Super cool. And the EQ, of course, to make it fit needs to be different. So there's a harsher low cut starting at 300. Really clears that muddiness out, taking harshness all the way out of 5K and above, and cutting some mids at 800 so that it's not too honky. Big night and day difference there. And then there's your typical wet drone lead on the breakdown, which might be the same tone. It's obviously not the same tone. Okay, so I'm actually using the same patch as the rhythm here because I really wanted it to meld together with the rhythm guitars. Only the reverb lets it stand out, which is awesome. 100% wet all the way to 8 seconds now, so that it makes the very washy drone. Epic. Roll off low end, because it can get problematic. If you can't hear that difference, be very careful about how you're treating the low end on these ambient elements. You need to be careful about that shit. So the clean guy. My usual favorite clean tone is this SS11X by Mercurial. I just plug in my guitar DI straight into it. gives it a very workable curve once I take out most of the low end. Reverb is mandatory, so 50% mix is that middle ground that just works with 6-second decay. And we need to shape it because the low end becomes a lot boomier with the reverb, and there's a few nodes in the mid-range and low mid-range that we don't want. This basically balances my playing so that it cuts the low notes that hit at around 500, and this takes out honkiness at 1K. You gotta have stereo delay. Excuse me. Or else it isn't a clean sound. So quarter note ping pong. You can filter it, which I do, down to 5K to make it not stand out and poke too much. 30% wetness. The most important part is the ping pong effect. And why is it important to compress your cleans? Because they are very transient heavy signals that have lots of pick attack, and you want to be able to turn down that pick attack so that you can turn up the decay without destroying your mix with every pick. Very loud pick. Then there is a string sound. So this is Expand, a very simple string pad maker, and I didn't want to use a complex one from Spitfire or the other ones I have because I wanted it to be very consistent and almost fake. Let the reverb make it bloom so that the note stays consistent. Reverb, 50% mix, 5 seconds, very wet. Then it's all about shaping it. Lame as fuck. The first lame thing about it is the harshness, which I take out with BX Refinement Harshness Control. That's what it's sticking out, so you can hear all the whistles there. Big difference. Then here we go. The biggest difference is the low cut at high cut at 4.5K. Way more palatable to the ear. Let's get rid of rumble while we're at it. And the honkiness at 1K and 500. Then there's the signature nollie trick. I mean, Nolly taught it to me, but maybe he didn't invent it. It's mid-side EQ, where you only EQ the mid channel, center channel, and you let the sides be unaffected. So if you grab these junk frequencies and cut them from the mids, but leave them in the sides, you get nice wideness. Check out the day-night difference. Very, very huge. And this notch, very important. Can you hear it if I turn off the... I hated it. It had to go away. Then there's the same strings, but with very lo-fi filter EQ, 180 low cut and 1.6K high cut. It's just this different, very mellowed out sound. I'm too lazy to automate an EQ, so I'll duplicate the track, put the EQ on that track, and just play it on that track. I am sorry. That's how I do it. Usual unaffected explosion. You guys can have this in the platinum tier. You're welcome. And then my terrible, terrible playing in this very fun intro. This is the unaffected camera audio. We're gonna make it from this to that. So we're gonna make it a bit bigger, right? First things first, we need to control individual harshness on the track. So this is the guitar track. Mellowing out the 5K is the most important thing. Bigger changes in the drums for sure. So the big one is trying to get some oomph out of the kick with like 12 dB at 55. It's a big help. And then we remove the boominess of the kick at 180. Some boominess at least. Some honkiness from the drums at 800. And we take care of a lot of cymbal harshness at 2.5K. Then they're ready to be beefed up. The first part of beefing them up is actually taming the cymbals again and the guitar harshness with Soothe. This really helps a bad recording out. And then the reverb of choice is an impulse response from a concert hall, actually. This sounds like my basement if I were to record a mic way out. That's 100% wet. We were at 25. Big help. And then this EQ is a level boost of 10 dB and a final harshness cut at the 2.5 area again, which was trash. And that's cool. Some little interesting tidbits in this mixing tutorial. Thank you guys so much for supporting and watching. I hope you learned something. Be sure to watch the previous one to get the meat and potatoes of it, the drums, bass, and guitars. And watch all the other ones because your support covers access to all of them. Thank you and take care. Goodbye.